And there we are. What's up, YouTube? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello,
So,
everybody.
Hey everyone.
so we still got a couple people that are going to be popping in. Unfortunately, Rabbit Dog couldn't make it tonight, but we got Mexi and Larry, just Larry, with me, and hopefully Mark will show up soon. And Seeking the Truth with Dave's going to pop in shortly too. So how y'all doing?
I'm doing good. Taking a little break from YouTube for the past week or so. Feels really good.
That
Little
does, yeah.
little detox is always good, but I'm missing a lot of stuff I see.
Oh yeah, things have been nuts.
How's
Yeah,
Mexi doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. It's the same old stuff. I always am super busy with stuff. I'm supposed to go talk to Vonda tomorrow. So
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I remember you saying you were going to do that. I didn't know if you'd already done it yet or what was
yeah,
going
I
on.
did part one. I did part one of it. I interviewed her once, but I was like, I wanted to make it really good because I'm like, she's got like a very strong like picture to paint on some of the things. So, and a
Right.
lot of people want to hear what she has to say.
Did
So,
you post the first part?
no, I'm
Oh,
putting
okay. I was going to
everything.
say, man, I really missed things, but I didn't see that.
No, I'm putting everything together before I post it. So,
Nice. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, I read part of. I got to order that book. I think you could get the digital copy. I don't know why I don't do it. I read. I think they give you like the first chapter on Amazon,
yeah, they
and
do. And
I was.
actually, I think it's if you're on their Prime membership. I don't remember something like that. That's the
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
If you're on the Prime membership, though, you get it for free. I think so.
Oh, okay. I do have Prime. I don't know how to use it or what I do with it. I just know fiance uses it pretty well.
Yeah,
Well, there you go.
women are better online shoppers than we are.
Yeah,
Shoppers.
definitely. Like I mean that not even as like a a side that they shop too much, but they're just better. Like
They're just better at
me,
doing
I don't know about you, but as a guy, like if I need something, just like at a regular store, but we do it online now. I just go and I search for something. Amazon will type it in, and I'll just pick the first one.
Yeah, that's
But
because
somehow she will always find the deal or something.
we're hunters. That's why, Larry. We're hunters. We hunt it. We go, we hunt it, we kill it, we drag it home.
Yeah, we take it home. We want to get in and out of there as quick as possible. She'll
Exactly.
spend 2 days to find $5 off.
Oh, I know, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up, Mr. Share? How you been?
Oh, chugging along. Been just working and trying to do YouTube and the other channel and everything, and
Yeah,
dealing with all that drama. Holy crap, things just blew up. I'm
drama
not
there too,
about the
huh?
damn drama, but it just, oh, it's like
Fine.
all around me.
You can have mine. I'll tell you. I've been trying to
Yeah, you
hide
got
from
it
it, and I
too.
still can't hide from it. But hey, I don't know. I just keep smiling. That's all I can do. Be me
Yeah.
and smile. I nothing we could do about it.
No, not
Um,
really.
but I have been getting into. It's been good because I've been trying to brush up on my editing skills to do more like pre-recorded videos and stuff.
Mm.
Um, and man, dude, editing has changed a lot. Like when I first started my business, like God, over 10 years ago, and we did like commercials in house. I taught myself on like Final Cut Pro and all that. And now, I haven't done it in a while. We just hire people out. I go to open up Final Cut Pro. I'm like, oh wait, this is not the same as I remember. And so now I
Nope.
got Adobe Premiere. I'm using that. I'm trying to learn that one. It seems a little simpler, but it's God bless you guys, man. I don't know how people that do all this great editing and stuff. It's a lot of work.
It is.
It is, but
Time
it's
consuming.
rewarding though.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun doing it. That's like I said, I've been doing for just kind of taking my mind off things and trying to edit up some videos, and it is interesting. It's fun. Nice
Yep.
creative side. I know you're into editing, Mark. You've done some really good stuff.
Yeah, he's
I,
got great
I
content.
try anyway. Yeah, I like it. It's nice to actually like make something and can actually go back and, oh yeah, I remember when I did that and this and how I did that. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
lives are great for interacting with everybody, but yeah, I like making videos.
Yeah, I've only done the lives so far, at least on here in years. But yeah, it makes you lazy and it's easy. It's a lot easier to do. Hey, there's Wombat.
Hey.
G'day, boys. How are you?
Hello. Hey,
Liven this chat up for us, Dave.
No worries. I'll try and behave myself today. I'll try not to yell at the camera or the microphone. I'll try and be good.
Fair enough. That's all we can do.
Yeah, I went a bit nuts in my last live, so I'm having a whole 2 days off my own channel. I barred myself.
Everybody's taking breaks.
Yeah,
you get burned out.
Yeah, well, I worked 5 days a week, and then I was doing about 6 shows a week, so it's a bit hard.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's not easy. I work same thing here, and I work from home, literally right next to this computer is my work computers, and it's still just doing 3 nights. I was like, oof, did I bite off more than I could chew? And then of course you add in the drama stuff, and I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm just gonna take a little break here and kind of reflect on things and see where we go. But it'll be all right.
Oh yeah. Drama
Everybody
comes and
needs a
goes.
break. Not with Mexi. Mexi is the one person that nobody dislikes. I'm going to start disliking Mexi just to do it because he needs somebody to dislike.
Give me an extra thumbs down there.
Yeah, everyone
he's the guy to watch.
Yep. Yeah, Mexi can't do anything wrong.
I wish.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
He just flashes those perfect white teeth, man, and everybody's like, "Oh, Mexi."
That's all I got to do. I should just start coming on here then. If that's all there is to it, shoot, I'll come on here. Hey guys.
Yeah, just flash that smile.
Flash that smile. Yep.
Just
boom.
Sit there and smile, Mexi, and you just rake it in, buddy. You just rake it in. The Don Johnson look, mate. You got it going. You're all good.
Don Johnson. Oh wow.
Dave did warn me early on when I first started. He said, you got to get was it Florida that said you got to get the tattoos and put a hat on, man.
That's
like
the way to go, huh?
I should have done it.
Mexi looks like he's about to pitch in the World Series.
Yeah, that's.
There you go. Yeah. So, alrighty. So, why are we here today?
All right. Well, I guess, Dave, since your time's limited, we'll have you go first. But I'll give a quick rundown for anybody who happens to be watching doesn't know about the Christian Andreacchio case. This was a young man who died under somewhat suspicious circumstances. There's people who believe it was self-harm, people who believe it was murder, and we're just kind of bouncing theories off each other, going over the case files and discussing. So if anybody has any thoughts, by all means, say them in the side chat. I'll try and catch them. But Dave, since you got to go back to work, we might as well start with you. What do you think about all this?
Well, it's a very touchy subject, and for those people that are in chat just right now, I just want to say it's a very sensitive subject. It involves suicide, this case, and if it's not for you, you probably shouldn't be here in chat, or even listening to this podcast. I'm very sorry, but it's a very, very touching subject. The Christian Andreacchio case. Yes, he was. It was believed initially that it was definitely self-harm, but then we actually got to officially find out through a podcast, through an audio recording, that the investigation was originally botched. And that came out of the DA's mouth. So we did have a fly on the wall in that room that particular day, which was not good for their investigation, but very good for the what could possibly potentially be true justice in this case. I can't see how, in any way, shape, or form, that he hurt himself. It could have been an accident. There's several different reports in the case file, but Dr. Ardens is actually in that case file. For those who don't realise it, he is a specialist in this area of investigating forensics, and he has represented the prosecution in hundreds and hundreds of cases in his career. And he came up with a theory that I think is pretty close, and it involves young Christian's body having been moved post-mortem, and the bullet sadly moved from one particular part of that room to become in the actual bathtub, I believe, through that report. And there was no ricocheting anywhere near the bathtub itself. And Christian, the gun was found on the bottom left-hand side of him when he actually apparently shot himself in the right temple. So that doesn't really make much sense where the actual gun finished. And it could well be an accident where he may have been going to hurt himself, and Whitley or somebody or Dylan actually tried to prevent it from occurring, and the gun went off. But it's the actual cover-up of the crime scene, the things that happened afterwards. Whitley not being able to wake up from hearing a 45 go off in her very small apartment that she was in, and it was in a bathroom. So I'm pretty much of the opinion it was an accident or it was homicide, and that's where I'm at with the case from everything I've looked at so far.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Yeah, it's pretty hard to. I think no matter what, we can all agree that law enforcement did not do a very thorough job investigating this. I think they wanted to push the suicide agenda, and they investigated it as such. I definitely think they could have. Well, the crime scene photos, there's like less than 10. There's nothing for the crime scene. It's ridiculous. They don't even have a theory on bullet trajectory, where he was placed. Like they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So
they took
I've got
pictures
him
with their
in
cell
my-
phone.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I've got him sitting on the toilet.
yeah,
That's where I've actually got him, because there was a bullet hole that was actually, the bullet itself was actually pretty much taken out of the wall next to the power socket and moved. So from that trajectory, it looked to me like he was sitting on the toilet at the time it actually occurred, and there's no way he could have slumped and fallen, and the bullet ended up in the bathtub. That's just physics. It could not have happened that way. It just could not have happened that way. And there's things about which I don't understand about levivity. Like where the blood circulated in his legs into a certain position. I don't understand any of all that, but it just seems to me that his body was definitely moved after he died, and that's what I got out of the report.
yeah. I don't know enough about that to say yay or nay to that.
Yeah.
How about Larry? You want to take a swing?
Yeah, sure. Dave did a pretty good job there summing it up. I've dove into this case. I remember, reading about this before I ever even started, just because obviously it got a lot of national attention and stuff. Especially, this mother, Christian's mother, Ray, has been an absolute warrior, fighting for justice. Like Dave said, I've dug deep into it, looked at all of the files, the entire case file, read everything. Kind of give you a short synopsis. Basically, I don't think it's even a question that the stage was, or the scene was staged. It was altered. The police chief said that. Even the new district attorney, who is an arch nemesis of the family and all that, has admitted that. Detective Arrington from the Arrington report also likewise. So we got a stage scene. We got multiple conflicting witness statements between the girlfriend, the friend, and then, of course, we all know about gun night the night before, where all three of them that were supposedly in the apartment that day tested positive for gunshot residue, GSR. They all tested positive. And I'm seeing in some other debates where they're now that they know, they haven't been able to say no, she didn't, or they haven't even been able to successfully argue that, well, she shot a gun the night before at this gun night with Matt and his cousin Jet and so on. They're realizing that that's no longer a very good excuse. Number one, it wouldn't still be there the next morning. Number two, Matt Miller, who was there, has already given many statements, adamant she never touched the guns. She actually was scared of them, and he had to put his ears over her, or his hands over her ears. So now they're saying that it doesn't matter. It wouldn't have been there. It's only there because she was in proximity. Okay, fair enough. Then why, in the midst of it, when the police, you're just tragically, supposedly saw or found your boyfriend in that state and deceased, and when they say we're going to do a gunshot residue test, why do you immediately then lie and come up with, mine's going to come back positive because I shot a gun last night? If I was being honest and if I was genuine, my first thought wouldn't be any excuse. It'd be like, okay, do whatever you got to do. I'm in shock, I'd be crying. So again, like Dave said, you got the gunshot, the bullet that went into totally behind him if they found him the way they did. It looks like somebody, if you look at the picture, I don't know if you have the case, but if you look at the picture of the bullet hole, it looks like somebody used a knife, which there was a knife on scene that was taken into evidence, and pried out that bullet. The bullet's then found conveniently right in the tub. I don't even like going into the details, but if you look at the report, I think my last show on this, I showed that even just recently when D.A. Coleman filed her motion to take her off of the case and send it to the AG, at the last minute she put in a report from Knox and Associates, which showed they did a luminol test long after, and they showed the photos of it. The blood lit up, and they did the testing on it too to show that it was Christian's. And the blood lit up all over the wall, all over the ceiling, in places it wasn't seen on the day. So someone clearly cleaned it up, the scene. So when you add all that together with all the lies, the only question becomes what really happened. We've ruled out that it was what they said. Even if it was an accident and someone was trying to save him, like Dave mentions, that crossed my mind too. Maybe he was threatening to do it and someone tried to grab the gun. But at that point, it still would be seen as an accident. So what would be the need to lie? What would be, you'd still, if that happened to me, I'd still call right away and be like, look, I tried to help him. I didn't get there in time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So why, you have to ask the questions of why all the lies. So in my final judgment on it, it was definitely not a case of suicide. Now we got to get to what was it. And also just an update on the case this week, we found out. She made the motion. The judge ruled and sent it back to the Attorney General. Attorney General was ordered. The Attorney General was ordered to get a report back and filed with the court by September. And Attorney General brought it back, said, no, we don't want anything to do with it. This was like a week or so ago. Well, the judge once again denied the Attorney General's request, So they are going to have to. Attorney General's got to do it. They're stuck with it. What they need to do, in my opinion, is re-impanel another grand jury, do it properly this time, where they give the Arrington report, give all the proper evidence, be more transparent with the process, and let the chips fall where they may. And I think that's what the family wants, is a fair, proper grand jury, because they proved that they omitted a lot of evidence from the grand jury the first time.
Yeah, there's a lot of. They try to do a lot of covering and a lot of backpedaling, and I don't really understand why.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of. I mean, when you get into the case, there's a lot of politics that goes on here too. At the time, there was a district attorney, I think is Bilbo Mitchell. His son, God rest his soul, he passed away of an overdose since this event, but he was at least alleged by some to even be involved, or all we know is he was definitely friends with this group. And there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questionable things that happen in this small town. Believe it or not, this is where, in my experience, most of these crazy, some people might call it conspiracies, but this small town politics and corruption happens is in these small towns, because there's no accountability. Everybody knows everybody. There's no major media market. Like in New York City, for example, there's a lot of corruption, don't get me wrong, but you got major media outlets like the New York Times, New York Post, Daily News. You got tons of competition. So if somebody does something, they better really hide it, because somebody's going to be waiting to report on it. And there's sources all over. In these small towns, we don't have that, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Mexi, do you want to give us your thoughts on everything?
Well, hell, what's there left to say? I mean, Seeking the Truth with Dave was very thorough, and so was Just Larry. So what's left to say? I can go home for the
Just
day.
Smile, Mexi. That's all we need you here for, is the smile.
Yeah, just smile.
By the time you guys get around to me, you guys have already covered the main basis of the case. I'm left with nothing, man. I got nothing. You guys just make me look like a jackass over here.
No, there's a lot. I mean, and a lot of it needs
he really
to continue
is only here to look pretty. That's all he's here for. He's just saying the same exact things that Larry and Seeking the Truth with Dave are saying.
No, there's a lot of other parts to this that just don't make any sense. There's I missed out. I just missed lots of little tidbits in the case, and like Christian was supposedly never going back out on a part of the narrative. He was never going back out onto a boat again, and the guy had aspirations of being the youngest captain.
Yeah.
Boat captain in his area or where he was working. He was going to be a captain by the age of 27 or something, which was pretty huge. And then there's other, there's other parts to this case that are lots of people out there have I can't believe they've done this. They went and publicly ridiculed Mrs. Andreacchio, and saying that she caused it. For young Christian to do this to himself, and I think that's just cruel. For anybody to even think about writing that, saying that, or anything. This case brings out the worst in so many people, and it's a horrific case. It is really sad. It is a very sad case of everybody being so young.
Can you imagine just how you would feel? Putting ourselves in the parents' situation. I mean, I have children, so I think about that too. Can you imagine being the parents and you have to, regardless of whatever it is, I mean, whether it was a suicide or whether it was a murder, either way, to lose your son in the way that they lost him is just absolutely horrific and tragic. And the fact that it goes into a place where it's so dark because you just don't know which way to look. You're like, they know their son probably, more so than most other people do, honestly. And, you know, they're over here looking at it like you have other people that are saying it is suicide, or you have, you know, these other people that are saying it's murder, and people are going back and forth on it. No, it's suicide. No, it's murder. No, it's suicide. It's murder. I mean, regardless of whatever it is, I think myself personally, I think it's murder. There's too many things that are adding up to me that would suggest that it's murder. I mean, look how many times that his girlfriend lied. Look at the his
Sorry, I had to
best
clap.
friend.
I didn't mean to cut you off with the clap, Mexi, but I'm glad you just said it. Because that's what. Yeah, sorry. Go.
No, you're good. You're good. And just like look at the friend too. I mean, like there's very suspicious activity. Look, if I was his friend, if I was truly his best friend, the last freaking thing on my mind would be going to the bank to try to withdraw his money to get out of there. And it's like, to me, I think about just those simple things, like, you know, sometimes that we overlook. Like that is so simple in itself. Like, look, if I'm a best friend and my best friend just committed suicide, and I'm heartbroken. I'm tragically, the last thing I could give a crap less about is freaking money. I would give a crap. I don't care how much money the dude's got. I'm over here heartbroken because my best friend just committed suicide. But you don't see that being the case. Like this, he's just acts weird on the interviews. There was an interview where they were talking about his parents, and what do you have to say about the parents? He spits on the ground. I mean, like just like weird ass things. It's like, and then not to mention again, going back to his girlfriend, you know, talking about the gun, you know, her having residue on her finger the night before that she was shooting the gun, and that whole story and the whole fiasco where he's talking about that other guy that was involved, and he's talking about, oh yeah, covering her ears and such. But my thing is like, how do you get the gun residue on it? And like, don't you get that off prior to, like, it just nothing adds up. The way his body falls onto the tub, like, and you get the gun trapped from here. Like, I'm trying to, like, I've tried every which way to think of how you can do it. If you have a gun here and he has it pressed enough where it's leaving an indentation into his head, and then he fires it, how do you get from that point to all the way on the other side where your hip is? How does the gun just you know what I mean? Like, it would have to take like a miracle to get that gun from there to there, falling on that and pinning it between the tub the way that he did. To me, it almost
and
looks...
the fact that the gun was also decocked, which with that gun, it automatically reloads. It has to be manually decocked.
Oh, I do have some information about that.
Yep, and manually do it. So I mean, like, those are just like the little tiny points that, like, you know, we could go into, because, you know, Seeking the Truth with Dave, you did a fantastic job, and just Larry, you did a fantastic job too, going over the details of the case. And it's like, we grab all those things, and I put myself in the parents' shoes. I'm like, crap, that freaking absolutely sucks that the parents have to be in this position now, to where, look how hard that they're having to fight just to find out, like, the actual justice, to get, like, the actual justice system to work. And it's just like what Larry said too. Where do you see these things happen? It happens in these little tiny towns where they think that they're above the law. There's all this corruption and politics and different things going on. Why does it happen in those places? Because they get away with it. You see corruption on those levels because they're these little tiny places that nobody... What are you going to do if you're a resident in those places? Are you going to go against a place that's corrupt? I mean, we could talk about several different cases. One of the top of the ones that comes off my head, Making a Murderer, Brandon Dassey, and oh my God, why am I drawing freaking break? The main
Stephen
dude,
Avery.
Stephen Avery. Like, you look at them too, same thing, same situation, in a little podunk place where people think they're just above the law, and they start taking the law into their own hands, and then they start messing up things and then trying to hide things. And so you see this, so sickening to see when you get into little towns like that, that you see this way too often. And I wish there was a better way. I wish that I had a solution or a magic wand that I could wave over and be like, oh, no more little tiny towns with these little things of corruption. But, you know, honestly, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see these happens more times than not in these little tiny places like Larry was talking about.
Right. No, you did. I love what Oop, am I echoing somewhere?
Yeah, I don't understand why.
I don't have anything on, I don't think.
It
No, I don't.
stopped anyway.
What Mexi was just saying beautifully, raising a lot of those questions. You got to ask yourself a lot of the actions that happened that day. Why? How would they happen? Not to mention if this was, how it's being portrayed right now. If this was my friend, even if and it really happened, it was really a suicide, and even if I saw that the mother was just devastated and they were actually attacking me, I don't think I would ever, and maybe it's just me, I have thick skin, I would ever allow the opposing side or myself to take part in saying the things and trying to talk about her or Christian in the way that they're doing to try to supposedly, I don't know, defend them. I just wouldn't let that happen to I had my best friend did commit suicide when my senior year of high school, December 19th, 96. Obviously there was nothing like this here, but it's just so sad that, this case is so obvious that there's something else happened. There's people that know what happened, just tell them what happened. Clearly they don't want to go to jail for some reason. So that's why I think I go right with Mexi. And, I didn't want to come out trying to be as unbiased, but the evidence points to a murder. There was 2 murder warrants. We forget this. Yes, they were not allowed to be executed. That was because of this district attorney. And again, that is politics of it. But a judge did sign 2 murder warrants for his girlfriend and the friend. I mean, that's pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, it speaks volumes. You don't just do that on a day-to-day basis and be like, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna." By the way, today I'm gonna write that.
And a judge is not going to sign a murder warrant without very good, reasonable cause. To do it, probable cause to sign that. I mean, they don't sign a murder warrant based on nothing. I just don't understand. There's been other coverage of this, and it gets very, very intense and very vile. They cannot accept the evidence, the science, and there's just so much of it out there. We just need to know now what happened. I mean, I don't see how there's even a discussion of whether it was a suicide anymore. It wasn't. I mean, it just wasn't.
Just quickly, I'd just like to just say something. Like, people are asking in chat, have any of you guys ever spoken to Dylan? Well, I can say definitely not. I never would want to, because I do not want to be pulled into this case in any way, shape, or form. Because if this actually goes to trial, anything Dylan says publicly can be actually used against him. This is what Dylan doesn't understand. Since his actual original statements, if he goes around changing publicly what he actually said, or others do, is actually going to jeopardize the case. So I wouldn't want to have to be interviewing Dylan on my channel ever, and because it can all come back and actually bite him straight on the ass, no matter what. So it's because there's going to be a decision made in September in regards to this case, whether it's going to be reopened, the whole investigation yet again, or what they're going to do in regards to going further with it. So I'm not an attorney, and that's for sure, but I could assure you I wouldn't want to be Dylan out there or Whitley making public statements in any way, shape, or form that is going to jeopardize anything for them and Matt Miller as well.
And FYI, y'all, that's exactly why NK isn't talking.
Exactly. Somebody, Dylan has trolled me a little bit on. Yeah, I agree with Soul Sister for that. I don't even read. No offense to, I do read chat, but I don't on some of that stuff. Like, have I talked? All I know is Dylan has trolled me a few times in my comment sections, but I see it for what it is. It is what it is. If he can't take discussion on a case and he can't tell the truth and explain answers, then so be it. I mean, I saw how he acted when Crime Time or whatever the show was came out and a reporter tried to ask him questions. Like Mexi pointed out, he turns and spit when asked about the family. So you know what? I wish I was there. Actually, I'm glad I wasn't. But nonetheless, I don't have any. these people that are actually pushing him and saying he's some kind of hero, if they actually cared about him, the first advice they'd give to him as a lawyer, any lawyer would tell him, is shut up. Don't say a word, dude. You've gotten 7 years away with this. The last thing you guys need to be doing is talking more, and tell all your trolls to be quiet too if they truly cared. But they don't. They can't stop. And that's telling to me more too as to how this case is going. I mean, they can't look how they act. I mean, it shows for themselves.
And that speaks something about you too. I mean, like, even as a person, like, you know, I obviously don't know this guy personally, so I'm not going to sit there and cast judgment on him. But, you know, I just think about myself, and I'm like, if I was put in that circumstance or that situation, and people were either one of the two, either on my side or against me, regardless of whatever the situation, even if the parents had came at me and said, like, you're a terrible person, this is part of your fault and stuff like that, like, I still would care enough about the things that had happened to this family. I'd be like, look, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Like, I cared for your son deeply and I loved him, and I'm sorry for what happened. If like suicide is what actually happened, that's the way that I would be. I would be like, you know, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you guys feel like I had a part in this. I didn't know this was going to happen, or whatever the case may be. But I would never try to push back on them and be like, you guys are freaking terrible people, and I'm going to try to get, you know, somebody else to jump on the bandwagon. You guys are awful, and this is that. I mean, like, they're already going through enough things. You know, there's probably a million different things that are in their head. Like, why sit there and add fuel to the flame if you don't have anything to hide or you don't have things to do? It just, like you said, zip your lip, be quiet about it, be like, you know, be humble, be like, you know, I'm sorry that people feel that way. That's not who I am, and that's that. Leave it at that. But it doesn't seem like that's kind of his characteristic trait as to what he wants to portray himself as. So
I agree. Yeah, you summed it up. I mean, it's definitely telling when you ask yourself. I mean, any investigator in that, you have to ask yourself, is someone capable of doing something, or what's their character? I mean, those are good questions, and we've seen over, at least me, in the past couple months of covering this, I've seen their character, and the way that they're conducting themselves tells me they're absolutely capable. Whether they did it or not, they know. But they've proven capable of doing it, and we've proven that. And like I said, this isn't just Larry on some YouTube, or just Mexi, or a bunch of YouTube guys, you know, kind of ignorantly giving our opinions. The police chief, I can't say it enough, the police chief, the district attorney, Arrington, they all agreed on that audio recording that we listened to that the investigation was botched. The police chief, Arrington, all of them said that they believe that that the scene was staged. And then you got Dr. Arden, who they could say, well, yeah, the family hired him, of course. But Dr. Arden, if you do your research, he has testified way more for the prosecution during his career than he has for defense teams. He's worked in the medical examiner's office for Washington, D.C. and New York, and major cities and areas where he's had to testify. And he's pretty much unimpeachable. There's no way that all of these people, and then these people, they just come up and they make up things. You know, for example, they've tried to spin around the decocking that an EMS, in the EMS report, or whatever report that where they said we made the gun safe. That does not, don't twist the words, that does not mean that they decocked it. They would not have done that. They simply wouldn't. If you talk to any detective or talk to any EMS, they're not supposed to touch a gun at all. EMS would never touch a gun. So making sure it was safe does not mean that they decocked it. They would not have done it. It would have had to, there would be pictures of it, both exactly where it was. I mean, we saw the gun with the butt sticking out. It was decocked. Yeah. So, but there's a lot of people trying to spin things around, and it's just unfortunate because I think, and not to ramble on, but you know, Mexi started to hit on a good point that we're all forgetting here, is that this was a great kid who, it's unfortunate that the family has to keep hearing all these details, but they want justice, and it is important. But a lot of people in their defense, they feel in their defense of Dylan and so on, that their only defense is to read out all of his private texts and different things like that, and hammer his character, the victim's character, the family, and just throw mud on them. This was a great kid, came from a very good family. Like I think it was Mexi mentioned, he was on his way to becoming the youngest boat captain in the history. I mean, it was a great job that he had, and we're all forgetting that, his story. He was 21 and just an amazing kid.
I just can't see it adding up, like all the things that he was trying to accomplish. I mean, he had money in the bank, he had great things, he had a good vision of where he was going and what he wanted to accomplish, and those things, like those are all someone who, he's still a young kid, yes, but it sounds like to me in his life he had priorities set in a certain direction that he was moving towards. And I mean, and it's very apparent in, just how well put together, like even his finances were. 21 years old. I don't know about you guys, but at 21 years old, I was out at the bars and I was getting wasted, and I didn't really give a crap about my bank account. I'm like, hey, I got $40 in my bank. That's good enough for me to go get drunk at the bar. And so,
Exactly.
so just the
Exactly.
fact to see that at 21 years old of a kid who can hold himself together, has money in the bank, has a good job, has good goal careers for his career. He's got, just all those things. But I would love to hear, I'd love to hear your side of it, Prairie, because you are the opposing view to what we're all saying, because we're all kind of like on the same page with it. So
Yeah, you guys are all gung-ho 100%. I'm on the fence. I really don't know. So first, a couple of things. The pistol, the hammer being decocked. That particular gun, it is a common thing once it is fired that the hammer will follow. It doesn't stay back. I've Googled that. I've looked at all kinds of forums. That is a legitimate thing. So it's very possible that his pistol happened to be one of the ones that would do that. Still possible someone decocked it and stuffed it in there, although that's just a guess. But that is a possibility. And I was, until I saw some more of the case files and the crime scene photos and stuff, there were things that I saw that just didn't make sense. Like, I always thought that the narrative was Christian was standing facing the tub, pulled the trigger, dropped. So I didn't understand the whole bullet thing. I thought that was just all screwed up. But then when I saw the crime scene photos, there's blood spatter. So that is legitimately where the bullet hit. 100%. The bullet hit that wall, maybe struck a nail and bounced back to the tub. Maybe someone dug it out and stuck it in the tub, though that doesn't make any sense. It'd be pointless to do. But I don't get how he went from that position to falling forward and turning and dropping where he did. Another thing is I thought, well, he was killed somewhere else and moved there. The amount of blood in that tub? No. Unless it was seconds after he was shot, he was placed there? No, that's where he dropped and died. So, I don't know. But the big thing that got me was the pistol was pressed tight against his head when the trigger was pulled. It wasn't a few inches away. It was right tight enough that the guide rod actually punctured his skull. So it was pushed hard. So it was either a full-on execution or self-harm. But one thing that for damn sure, I don't believe Whitley or Dylan. I think if this was self-harm, they helped him. I think they were involved in that anyway. Like Dylan going to withdraw the money, apparently while Christian is still alive, comes back, finds him slumped over in the tub, called 911 but didn't try to revive him. That's a massive red flag. So if you knew he was going to kill himself, you wouldn't try to revive him. Or if you were involved in his murder, you wouldn't try to revive him. But if you just happen to come upon your friend, you would at least check for a pulse, something. But there was no footprints. there was no blood on Dylan. At least there may have been, and the police didn't check because they did not do a very thorough investigation. But yeah, Dylan never ever mentioned checking for a pulse and seeing if he was still breathing or nothing. It was just instantly, man, we've had a suicide. So that was very, very weird. The other weird thing is Whitley not waking up to the gunshot, but waking up to Dylan yelling. And then she was completely alert during that 911 call. She wasn't slurring. She wasn't out of it. She was 100% alert. So how did that happen? So like I said, I'm really on the fence. I'm sorry I'm missing all the super chats and everything, guys. I just don't want to lose my train of thought. But if it could have been murder. Definitely could have been murder. If it was self-harm, Dylan and Whitley both know a lot more than what they said they did. I'm losing my green screen. I heard it tear. And yeah, it's gonna fall down all by itself.
I
And then
know
there
what
was
happens with those green screens.
Yeah, well, I just got some duct tape holding it up. And anyway, there's another thing I saw after looking at the crime scene. There's some wall art of a woman holding a pistol, and you don't see a head. There's just blood, and then the blood is turning into birds.
That's a famous Banksy. That's a very famous piece of art, Banksy art.
Yeah, so that's kind of disturbing to have in there. And I don't see Christian being the art kind of guy. So I don't think that was him. I think possibly, I've heard Whitley was somewhat artistic, so I would guess that would probably be hers. Or maybe Christian's brothers, but Christian didn't seem like much of an art connoisseur or anything like that. So it seemed very out of place.
Yeah, I think it was, and I think Lexi just said, yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure from what I've read somewhere, it was his brothers. Actually,
yeah, I'd like to talk to his brother because he must have some kind of insight on all this, and I haven't heard nothing.
Oh, he does. Yeah, yeah.
Well, he would be backing his brother for sure, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. Like, why would Christian allow someone to hold the gun against his head? It doesn't make sense.
It's a good
Maybe
question.
he dared someone to pull the trigger. Maybe that, like when you.
There's theories out there.
Kids.
Well, there's theories out there that there was more to happen. I mean, there is a witness that has given a statement, and this is where the DA at the time, Bilbo Mitchell's son, comes involved. He had a conversation with his son right after it. Now, this is alleged by someone that actually came out and had a conversation in the parking lot of their work and talked to their son, and says that the son, Bilbo's son, Hayes, I believe his name was, told him that, it wasn't supposed to go down this way, just made some very strange comments to him, saying, well, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. I can't believe this to happen. This wasn't how it's supposed to end. So, I mean, there's a lot of, and then there's also an eyewitness that's come forward, and some will say, well, this eyewitness was employed by the mother. Well, of course, but that doesn't make it not true. But they have alleged that this eyewitness saw that day, before it was ever called in that afternoon, saw their friend Jet on the scene in the parking lot talking to Dylan. So there's more to it that suggests, at least, that there may have been other people there. They may have been there to rob Christian. Christian's the only one that had money, a real job. Everybody talks about Dylan was working. Dylan was just home from, I believe he was just home from rehab. So there's a lot more. I wish Mark Gillespie had come on tonight. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more, I think, that he would feel more comfortable saying, because he was actually there and he worked on the case directly. So, yeah, and from the Arden report, or was it the Knox report, when they did the luminol test, they did all the, scientific studies, and they actually believe he was pretty much standing or kneeling somewhere in the middle of the bathroom when it happened. So, somebody could have had a gun to his head. Maybe he went to make a move and try to fight back, and they either shot him or accidentally shot him or whatever. But I think there's enough evidence to show that the scene, if you stick to what we do know happened, at least in my opinion, the scene was staged. And again, that's not just mine. The police chief agrees with me. Dr. Arden agrees with me. Knox and Associates agree with me. Detective Arrington agrees with me. The scene was staged. The gun was wiped down. And I believe he had a Kimber. Am I right, Mark?
Yes.
He had a Kimber,
1911.
which I believe is made here in Yonkers, New York. His gun, I think. Don't correct me if I'm wrong.
There it goes.
There it goes. Hey, that's
And we're
still a
back
nice
in black.
background. Still looks good. But yeah, I think we know that, at least in my opinion, the scene was staged. There were a lot of conflicting statements and lies. And you have to question why lie if it was a simple suicide. Why'd you lie? Why'd you stage the scene? Or even just alter the scene at all, for that matter? It would be a chaotic thing to have your friend commit suicide. You would, and I wouldn't blame them if they jumped in and were trying to revive him, trying to hug him, console, do anything. You do a lot of weird things, in a situation like that, but yet they totally lied.
Yeah. Especially if it's your girlfriend and your best friend, you would figure that there'd be some kind. I would go over, and I know I wouldn't give too much of a craps about the investigation. At that point, I'd be over there trying to either see if I could revive him or hold him or, something. Right. If that was the case.
Just quickly before I have to disappear, I just want to somebody in chat's asking what's the motive. Well, the motive is robbery. It's money. That's the motive in this case, because Christian had money in his truck. He had a lockbox or something in his actual truck that he owned. Apparently, I think that's right, Larry. I think.
Yeah, he was rumored to always have a lockbox with cash and a gun in his truck, and he was coming home. They knew it to kick her out, and you had a bunch of friends that were basically, a lot of them didn't work. Dylan was not working, not stable. They were all had, drug issues. And we know that, I'm sure they talked about, that Christian, he dabbled with drugs, but he didn't do drugs when he was out. I mean, obviously they did a test on him and it came back perfectly clean. So he had, like Mexi points out, he had his stuff together. He was the only one that did. He bought his girlfriend, 17 years old, bought her a BMW, paid the rent, was paying for her to, go out to eat every night, and was paying for all their friends and all that stuff. I mean,
and then he also, what else did he? I'm just trying to think. I was just about to say something that Dylan. Right, if you go to the bank, usually the most important thing to do if you go to the bank with a card is have a PIN number with you. That's my big issue here. Is he took all the social security information, took everything with him, and then goes up to a teller asking for money without a PIN number. I mean, if you just want to go and take the money out of his bank, you just go to the ATM, take out what you can that day. The next day, go and take out whatever you can. And the next day, take out whatever you can, if there's limits. So it doesn't make any sense at all. He's walked into the bank without a bloody PIN number to withdraw money. So that's just so far-fetched. It's not funny.
Yeah, I agree. And, that would suggest that he didn't have, when they asked him why he didn't get the money out, he didn't have the PIN. Well, if he was still alive, why couldn't he was supposedly texting with him? If he was still alive, why couldn't he just text him, hey, yeah, they want your PIN number? And he would have just texted back with the PIN number. So that tells me whoever was texting with Christian's phone was not Christian, and he wasn't alive, because that person couldn't answer the question of the PIN. Yeah. Whoever had that phone and was doing the texting couldn't answer the PIN question. And they couldn't ask Christian because he was, in my opinion, already deceased.
Absolutely.
I just sent that luminol picture to you, Mark. I don't know if you saw it.
I got it, yeah.
Okay.
And that I wanted to touch on the blood and the gunpowder thing.
Okay.
Sorry, Mark. Okay, I have to run.
Oh, okay,
to run.
Dave.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm so
No, it's all
sorry,
good.
everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too.
Great being here. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Mexi.
Yeah.
Mexi, the look at you. You're so pretty. And our mate Mark. Thanks very much. I appreciate it, mate. Very much.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for the
coming
invite.
on, dude.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
have a
say,
good one, Dave.
I was gonna say too.
Thank you.
I gotta get hopping to go do some family stuff too. But I wanted to close out with just one other thought. And I know some people might argue with me because as I said, I think that he had his stuff together for the most part. I know that he had text messages and things. I know that he may have dabbled in drugs and things, but the realistic point of view is, guys, remember what his age was.
Yeah.
At his age, were you guys, and most people can honestly attest this. I can myself. I was not the most had my stuff together. I would go out, drink, I'd go party and stuff like that too. And so you got to remember and take into consideration his age. He was still a young person. So is he going to have weird things like weird text messages and he's going to have things like, oh, he dabbled in drugs or he did this and that? Yes, but did he have his stuff together for the most part? And the answer to that is yes. Just like you saw in the comment, he had $50,000 in the bank. He was going on his way to become
I think
that.
they're saying, I don't
was
know how old you are,
Dylan, his
Mexi,
friend.
but I think Mark could probably, you might be younger than me, but Mark could probably feel my what I'm about to say. But imagine if we had social media and text messages and all that stuff to go over and analyze when we were 18 to 21. Holy cow, the things we'd say, and I'd hear my friends say, how many times my mom didn't give me gas money or bear money when I was 18, and I needed, hey, Mom, can I have $20? No, I'm done giving you money. Oh, gee, I'm going to jump off a bridge. It's a figure of speech. That doesn't have anything, what he said in his text messages or, all that weird stuff had nothing to do with what happened that day. The only thing that matters is what happened in that apartment that day. And he was coming home strictly to, when they give their timeline about the he was supposed to, and he even told Dylan supposedly that he was going back to work. Now, if you're his friend, Dylan says they watched like 5 movies. I don't know how many movies they said they watched. It was like a 3-hour drive or whatever it was. He had to basically get there, kick her out, and then almost immediately get on the road in order to make it back to work. Why wasn't Dylan saying to him, dude, we got to get back on the road. I got to get you back to work. Like, it was just nonchalant. People were just coming in and out of the apartment, watching movies, taking naps, going to get Chick-fil-A, going to just empty out my friend's account because he said it. By the way, he earlier told in his statement, he says that before that, he put the gun to his head and threatened he was going to kill himself, and he had to take the gun and hide it on him. So what logical sense does it make that right after that happens, he tells you, hey, go to my bank and take all my money out. And then not only do you say, oh, that's not a strange thing, but you also, oh, by the way, before I go take all your money out, here's your gun back. To my friend that just had it to his head. I mean, come on. Are we really buying this, people? I mean, we're all adults here.
There's just too much stuff that
doesn't make sense.
There's too much stuff that points. I mean, you start.
Well, there's stuff that points and there's stuff that people are getting mixed up too.
Yeah.
Like I would want to talk about. I forgot the one thing, but the gunpowder. All 3 of them had indicative particles on the backs of their hands. The only one who had positive particles was Christian. The other 2 did not. So that was when I read that was a major problem for me. But they could have washed their hands or something. Who knows? But there was something else I wanted to say about the gun, and I can't remember what the hell it was. Oh, no, it was the blood. Yes, the scene was staged. It was staged after Christian was removed. I've got a picture of the crime scene. You can see Christian in there. There's no blood on the door. And then all of a sudden there's these other pictures in there where there's blood spatter all over the door. That was put there after. So I don't know how that happened. I don't know if it was the officers or EMTs or someone they were moving them. But the whole damn crime scene is just pooched. Mm-hmm. So we can't go by anything.
Yeah, reminds me of John Bonet, that how much they botched it too.
Yeah, the only ones who could really say were experts, because the one thing that makes me wonder is there's a massive amount of blood in that tub, which would make sense from his position, right? But that you can see a dark rim of where where the blood was starting to congeal.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know how long that would take. Like if someone could give
you
a
add that
timeline.
with the lividity that was clearly taking place in the back of his calf and the back of his legs, which
Yeah, I saw
anyone-
pictures of that too, but there's a little bit on one leg. Most of it is on his knees.
They were talking
the only
about
way the only way you're going to get it right. So you can have secondary. So I did some research on this. I'm not by any means a doctor though, so I don't know. But from the research I did and some of the conversations I've had regarding this, you can actually have secondary spots. But once it goes, for example, the bottom line, the fact that he had any lividity at all in the back end of his legs shows, in my opinion, and the opinion of medical examiners, that like Dr. Arden, would not be possible unless he was for a extended period of time laying on his back. And then then if you put him where he is, it can end up going to other place. Not to mention also, he had already was in rigor mortis. So, we showed, and people tried to blast me that even though they told me, make sure you read the case files. So once I read the case files, and I actually showed one picture in particular, which showed he was actually in rigor, and you could talk to EMTs and that they don't. I mean, it's basically impossible anyways, unless you're in rigor, to keep a body in the exact position that it is, like he was kneeling down, laying over. They're going to put you in a, and again, I'm sorry if I'm talking about graphic stuff in this, but they're going to put you in a body bag, and you're going to be limp, and you're going to end up straightening out no matter what. You're not stiff as a board unless you're in rigor, which shows, a lot of evidence that he was dead hours prior to them making the phone call. So again, if he committed suicide, why did you wait so long to make the phone call?
Yeah, during the autopsy photos, he was still bent.
Yes.
He wasn't laid flat. So I don't know how long it was from then to the autopsy photos and all that, but yeah, there's that. And about the blood on his calves, the way he was positioned, that blood would flow down the veins into his calf muscle and then drain down, and that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a waterfall.
All right,
so he was not on his back. He was killed and put in that tub almost immediately, or he died right there. With all that blood, there's no other way he was killed somewhere else and moved there. There's way too much blood for that.
I question with the blood part too, but we got to remember there was also a shirt of some sort or towel that was found behind the thing. And there also, if you look at that luminol picture I just sent to you, there's evidence that there was a lot of cleanup that happened before they got there as well. So we don't know. We don't know what the original
taken though.
Well, that was taken long after the crime, the event. But that proves it was. They also took tests proving it was his blood. So how did that blood? And they had repainted over that wall too. So I mean, you add all that together. How did his blood get all over the walls? It wasn't there that day. We have pictures of the crime scene. It wasn't in those spots of the luminol test.
So sorry.
Why did they hide?
I don't even know if they checked behind the door.
I gotta get going, guys.
All right, man.
All right, Max.
Thank you so much for having me on, Mr. Scher. Larry, it's always a pleasure to speak with you guys. Thank you to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, man. Good seeing you.
You guys being awesome. We're gonna have to do this again sometime. We need to try to make this like a more ongoing thing.
We gotta do like a monthly thing, all the guys.
Yeah, we need to. Some less controversial cases, maybe.
Yeah.
And someone we don't get. Hey, there's Save Robbie in the chat too. Hey, what's up,
Save Robbie? What's up? Save Robbie, you should be up here.
All right, yeah, Save Robbie, come on up. All right, guys, I got to get going. Thank you so much again. I appreciate you, Larry, Mr. Scher. Yeah. We'll see you guys later, and hopefully we get to do this again soon. And everybody in the chat, thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. Appreciate you all for being so cool. So have a good night.
Have a good night, bud.
Later, bud. Mexi. And then there were two, and I wish Mark would have come on because he was all gung-ho about it. I don't know what happened. I didn't even hear from him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wish he would. I know he worked hard on this, and he did the legwork. He was down there. From what I understand, he was even went to Key West, and as we know, we got him on some of those audio recordings that I played.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah, he
So
would be a good one to talk to.
I mean, it's a tough case to talk about because it's such a tragedy, no matter what happened, even if it really was. What I always do, though, is I judge based on, I mean, and not to bring it up, but I mean, I just find it kind of funny again. So I'm looking at the chat. For example, I look at how any other side of an argument, whether you can have an intelligent discussion or they come with personal attacks. I mean, I see people in here like poopist politician with my picture. I mean, that to me is indicative that, I don't know, in my opinion, that we're onto something. And I just don't understand why people can't have intelligent discussions like adults about these cases.
I agree. The last stream I did about Christian, I can't remember who it was, but there was a couple people, and we were having a really good debate about the whole thing. They had, hey, if they aren't saying anything bad, don't stop timing them out. I'm going to have to go through my mods because I'm seeing a lot of comments getting hidden and stuff, and people aren't saying anything bad. That's not what my channel's about, you guys. People can debate all they want. They can disagree. They aren't calling anyone any names, leave them alone.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I was always like that. I don't like...
Yeah, I don't like... Because, well, like, I don't like pushing a narrative.
Right.
Like, when I first started looking at this case, I thought, oh God, this has to be murder because of all the stuff that makes no sense. But even, like, it doesn't matter which way you paint it. Murder doesn't make any sense. Suicide doesn't make any sense. Like, things don't add up.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I'm still open to, like you said, it could have been an accident. The only thing, and again, it doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just saying that I'm not out there with my opinion that it was a staged scene and that it was at least altered and there were some things, lies and so on. I mean, that's shared by the police chief. Like I said, the detectives, a warrant was signed by judges. So I'm not saying that to attack and say that they are, but I'm saying I'm not exactly coming out of left field here with my opinion.
No, that's true.
It is my opinion that happened, but what actually happened in that house or in that apartment that day, I don't know, but I know that they do, and I wish that they would clear up why the lies, the discrepancies.
Yeah, either way, both Dylan and Whitley are lying. They
Right.
are both lying for sure. Either way, whether it was assisted suicide, straight up murder, accident, or Christian.
And that could have been. It could have been a heated thing, like we were saying earlier, Mexi. How many times do we all kind of say whatever? You get crazy or you break up with your girlfriend. Maybe he really, and again, I'm just throwing this out there, but could he have had the gun to his head and threatened it? And she said, "Do it then," and then he did it or whatever. Something just spurred a moment, went off, and they said, "Oh my God!" And then she was like, "I'm going to get in trouble." Because if you hear the 911 call, she's in the background crying, and it sounded legit cries, but she's also yelling, "It wasn't my fault." So I don't know. I mean, again, we don't know what that all means. All we can go off of is the evidence and the forensics that pointed to an altered scene, an earlier death, and it makes me question why. I mean, there are people that were there that know the answers. Why can't they just tell us?
Yeah, like they're telling a false story, either to make themselves look less guilty, but what they're less guilty of, that's the question. Like, was this a murder? I could definitely see it being possible. Like I said, I'm on the fence. And I could also see it being self-harm because Christian was, I know, like, when we were kids, we would say shit, but he said this stuff repeatedly a lot. He was not fully, he was not mentally healthy.
It was a toxic relationship for sure, and they went back and forth, but it was all a very short time period.
He had a bad relationship with his mom too. Like, it seemed like he had kind of a bad relationship with everybody. He liked his work, but yeah, he had some issues in his personal life. That doesn't make a person suicidal, but he definitely had a dark side to him. I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility.
He was a young guy. It was, a lot of, like I said before, a lot of their feelings now are, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, they're documented, in text and Facebook and everything that we do nowadays. Whereas when we were that age, we would say it, and if no one was around to hear it, it went away. No one could, you know what I mean? I do,
Oh,
though,
yeah.
and his relationship with his mother, for example. I mean, he's got a great family, and a lot of those, remember, that all started because of Whitley.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was her fault. I'm not even going to get into that. The reality is, though, for whatever reason, they didn't like her. It seems to have caused some kind of rift between him and his mother for that short period. But this was a relatively new relationship. So, I mean, he didn't always have those issues with his mother. I mean, He obviously got along with his brother well enough to where they lived together.
Yeah.
And
he wasn't like ostracized from the family or nothing like that. No, there was just like they had a tense relationship, but that will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's not that doesn't prove that he was suicidal, but he definitely did have a dark side. There's no denying that.
It seemed from reading, I mean, he had a temper for sure. He had he had some issues, but then again, everybody that talks about him talked about, that worked with him at least. But, it all depends on what narrative what side you're going. And that's why I always don't like the personal attacks on any of them. I mean, I've said my piece, for example, on Dylan, only because I've seen him talk. If you notice, and a lot of people in this case originally, most, I would say, from my research, going back to the history of this case, all the drama of it, it's been Whitley being the one that most people dislike. If you notice, I haven't said a bad word about Whitley because I don't have anything to go off of. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen how she interacts, so I'm not going to judge anyone until I see how they interact. I've seen how he has. That's why I've given my opinion and I didn't attack him personally other than to say how he's acted and the things I've seen him say and how he's attacked people on YouTube have been pretty off-putting. I've seen it. I haven't seen Whitley act anyway. She's shut up. And frankly, I think she's getting better advice than he is. I think she's playing them all. Depending on what really happened there, she's playing them all. She's quiet. You notice that? She doesn't say a word. She's the NK in all this. She is staying quiet, walking away, getting good advice, and the rest of them are kind of self-destructing no matter what really happened there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no matter what happened, it didn't go down the way they said it did.
Right.
There's no way. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I don't know. Ultimately, it's just, I think, I wish we could have, and maybe we could end it with it, just a discussion that no matter what happened, and, well, I guess, yes, Mary, but let's say even if it was a clear-cut case of suicide, that's a tragic, tragic thing. I mean, there's so many people in this world that are dealing with mental health issues. We're seeing it now more than ever, of course, with the pandemic. It's gotten worse. I'm learning about it on social media the hard way with bullying. Thank God I'm pretty thick-skinned, but anyone that doesn't, I could see how they could end up getting themselves in a bad situation. It's a tragic thing, and our hearts should be pouring out to the family no matter what. No matter what happened.
Yeah. Either way, Christian should not have died.
No, he shouldn't. No matter what. And his mother is fighting for what she believes is her truth and justice, and all she's asked for is an honest investigation and an honest presentation to a grand jury. That grand jury, they proved that they held back stuff. The district attorney, Coleman, said if they could prove that there was something that wasn't presented to the grand jury before, she would re-impanel a new one. So they did prove it by going and getting grand jurors that said they never saw the Arrington report. What did she do after that? Now it's pass it on to the AG. The AG tries to pass the buck back. There's a lot of passing the buck. Nobody wants to know. Nobody wants a piece of this down there.
No, it's like hot potato. You don't want to be the one caught with it.
Yeah.
So they're all.
And that's telling to me, and being from my political act, because people think like, oh, what's politics got to do with it? That's what it is. These people are, it's all politics in the justice system.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, that's a very telling that ultimately, no matter which way it goes, if someone does the right thing, someone or somebody is going to get exposed. To what extent, I don't know. But that's usually what that means when the buck is being passed left and right, and nobody wants to be caught with that hot potato at the end, because there's going to be something going on.
Yeah, hopefully we can get to the bottom of it, but honestly, it's one of those things where the initial investigation was handled so poorly and so sloppily. Like, how the hell did they get blood all over the door? Like,
Yeah.
these guys were not professional. You can even tell if you've seen the crime scene photos. The quality of them is horrible.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing I saw where I think it was the police chief that mentioned, because they took all the photos with, and remember, we're going back 2014. Your cell phone photos were, cameras weren't like our iPhones are today.
True.
They took all those pictures with cell phones, and they tried to say, well, that's all we had, but yet they said, the police chief said, no, we issued all new DSLRs and cameras. Yeah, I mean, come on, every police department, I don't care how small, every police department has professional cameras and equipment for crime scene. I mean, gosh, they took better photos of crime scenes in the 1920s than we saw with this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the autopsy ones were high quality, but the actual crime scene were terrible.
Yeah, and there were very few. I mean, considering.
That's what I'm saying. Like, was there like, what, 5 from inside the bathroom?
Yeah.
5 or 6 pictures? That's it? No, they didn't mark anything. No circling. Like, they didn't do anything.
That makes you think. I mean, it could be, again, and I'm just throwing it out there because I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to be fair with it. It could be as simple as that. They screwed up the investigation so bad, which even Coleman said they did botch the investigation. So it could be as simple as that, an ego thing. And you get a lot of that, especially in law enforcement. You get turf wars between different agencies when they're working together collaboratively on a case. It could be something as simple as that. Nobody wants to end up with egg on their face. And it seems now it's turned, because it's gone so, viral, I guess you'd say. And maybe, there's a lot of egos involved now too. And it seems to have grown a life of its own. I just want to see a proper, someone said it in chat earlier, the feds, I wish it would. Unfortunately, it's not a federal crime. So the feds can't get involved. But I would love to see the feds come in somehow and get involved and just simply be as open as possible and present transparent as possible and present a full, fair grand jury hearing, and then let the chips fall where they may. That's all. I mean, if the DA agrees that it was a botched investigation, which she said she does, why would you not want everyone should want it? I would think even those, if they are being falsely accused, if I was being falsely accused for 7 years, I would say, absolutely, put me on a, whatever. I mean, let's get all the evidence out there. Let's get everything out there. Do something, because, they're ruining my life. But they're so dead set against that.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm quiet. I'm trying to read a little bit of the chats here.
I do too.
There's a good discussion in there.
There is some of it.
Yeah,
I saw the $2 to the one who said I was looking hot tonight. I didn't reply because I'm taken. But thank you.
I didn't see that. I think they were talking about me. No, I'm kidding.
It could have been.
No, she says Mr. Shearer looking hot tonight. It's the beard, man. I wish I could grow one.
Oh, you can. You just don't shave. And it just happens.
Yeah, true. I can't get past that. This is about the best I could do. I can't get past the ugly stage where it's all scratches.
And it gets itchy? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's worst.
Yeah, it is rough getting past that. This has been just about a year. I got a little over a week more, and it'll be a year.
I was just going to say, although it would have been a great time the past year and a half because of the COVID, and I work from home, and so I'm not doing anything. I should have just did it. But on a side note, I'm still loving the quality of your picture there. Now, you're using StreamYard, right?
Yep.
Now, you use OBS as well.
Yeah.
Do you find OBS's quality of the picture is better?
It does pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
if you put in,
yours always looks
I go
great.
1080 with my camera. I don't go 4K with it because the StreamYard dumbs it down to 720 anyway. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I still haven't hooked. I use an old T6i for streaming just because I don't use it anymore. So I threw that up there. I don't know why mine's not widescreen, even though it's in 1080. And I don't know if it's a setting in StreamYard. I just haven't had the time to pay attention and try to switch it.
you're using that camera right now?
The T6i, yeah.
Do you have different photo settings?
Yeah, there's a bunch of settings in there. I need to go in.
Because you might not be on 16:9.
Oh, you might be right. I'm an idiot.
It may be like my webcam is 16:9 normally, but it won't, like when it goes into through OBS and into StreamYard, it does what yours is doing. I have to expand it. So it could just be your camera, but maybe it might be a setting. You never know.
Yeah, I might do that. I might start using the M50 like you do for here's the old trusty M50. Might start using this for streaming. Yours looks
good.
way better. Yours looks way better. Well, let's see. Mark, don't be bossy. She telling you not to? Or I think there's a Mark in chat. I was thinking.
Who knows?
I've never heard Mark be bossy.
Yeah, I'm usually not.
I think I've heard Cher be a little bossy to you, maybe.
She's the fiery one. I'm the ice.
Yes, you are the beard of reason. Crazy crime chick, what's up, girl?
Tammy Barnes says Phoenix Bird wants a debate on the panel.
Who's Phoenix Bird?
I don't know. I'm not even seeing Phoenix Bird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Ray.
Oh, Phoenix Bird. Yeah, can you please contact? I think he's talking about coming up soon. Yeah,
I think Phoenix Bird is one of the ones that I was having a good talk with on my last. Was that you, Phoenix? You were on my last Christian stream. We were having a good talk.
Yeah, he's been in
we're gonna go, but
when I've covered this case, he's been in. I don't know, he or she. I don't know who it is, but has been in. And actually, I mean, we're on obviously different sides of it, but they've been very respectful. Even emailed me privately, and that type of stuff I enjoy. I'm always open to, like I said before, intelligent discussion, even if we disagree. And Phoenix Bird has always been great, and it's good. Unfortunately, though, a lot of people don't. They just want to yell or get mad. But
yeah,
that's true crime. I'm learning.
Oh God!
What are you typing up? You typing up an essay?
I have to put my email in the chat. I just want Phoenix. I want you to email me because I'm going to be cutting this stream off fairly soon. So, but I'll be doing another one. I definitely want to get you on if you're willing to come on the panel. So yeah, just email me and I'll keep you in the loop for the next one I'm doing.
Yeah, who was the other one that was supposed to come on? I think tonight, Rabbit or something.
Rabid Dog, yeah, he was unable to make it, and Mark Gillespie he pulled a Kaiser Soze. I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah, Rabid's
probably got caught up with something.
That has seemed to have had an open mind. Pretty mellow guy.
He was on my last one, and he was pretty much leaning towards the suicide thing. Or possibly accidental death.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, he was open-minded to.
Yeah.
A lot. He wasn't sure, but he at least acknowledged that there was questions to be asked, and there were things that just don't add up. So. Yeah. Barbara Roberts says, "Did Larry respond? Well, starting lives again. I was gonna do a live tonight, but Prairie Boy asked to do this, and I was going to go back and talk again about Andreacchio. So I said, I'll just do it on. I'll push it off. So hopefully, Wednesday. Hopefully, get right back to schedule.
There you go. Yeah, lots of questions need to be answered, that's for sure. Does anyone know if the volume of blood remaining in Christian's body was ever weighed? I do not know. I do know, like, a lot of people, myself included, thought maybe he was shot somewhere else and then moved to the bathroom. But the amount of blood that was in the tub, there's no way.
Yeah, I believe there was carpets outside of the bathroom. So I find, I don't really. Again, I don't know what happened, so I'm open to. But I don't think that would have been possible because, like you said, I mean, where he was shot, the amount of blood. I don't see how you're going to get that out of the carpets outside of the bathroom, and then also dried.
Yeah, no, it would have had to been like some kind of mafia style room covered in plastic. They off him and then they hurry him into the bathroom. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that I'm not buying that either.
Yeah,
Stephanie, you don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see my moobs.
Apparently Stephanie does. She's willing to pay for it.
Yeah, Mark could take his. Actually, I think there's some videos with Mark with his shirt off, so he might.
There's a video of me shoving a needle through my nipple.
Oh, jeez. Oof.
Yeah, I used to do some weird stuff on my channel.
Really? Yeah, I've been, during my little break, I've been noticing. I'll tell you, man, I really but whatever. I've been just doing something I haven't ever done, going back and watching old lives of a lot of creators, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's fun to watch how the evolution of their opinions and what they think on cases, and even a lot of familiar names in the chats, and I'm going, wow, like nothing bad or anything. I'm just saying, like, it's interesting to see because I haven't been around that long.
Yeah. Yeah, my old streams were pretty hardcore. We got going pretty good. I've been naked, I've been piercing myself, I shaved myself. Yeah, there was some weird stuff. Yeah. Wife says nope.
I was just gonna say, Stephanie, you better watch out. Be careful there. Cher's sharpening up her knives.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with that one.
You're gonna get poor Prairie boy in trouble. She'll be knocking on that door quicker than he thought. Let's see. All right. So yeah, it's good. Think for Megan. I see Megan's here. What's up, Megan? Megan's actually, I've heard her a couple times on Dave's. Really, really smart girl. A lot of people think she's out there with her ideas, but she's not. I mean, I don't agree on that one case that won't be mentioned, but I don't happen to agree on that, but I love the way she thinks. She does a deep dive. She's brilliant.
Yeah, some of the stuff she says, I mean, you can definitely say, holy crap.
Yeah.
She's not picking stuff out of thin air exactly. Making some pretty crazy connections. But I'll double down with Stephanie. Larry is free to take his shirt off if he chooses.
Throw this on me, man.
I am not going to. My wife will kill me.
Don't throw this on me. I'm an engaged man.
Yeah, we're both engaged.
Cher said, keep paying. I'm still not. That's what my fiance would say. Actually, my fiance would probably pay them to take me, but yeah, no, I'm good.
A new set of detectives.
I am a bachelor, though. I shouldn't say that considering the other case and all that stuff, but I do joke. I am a bachelor for the past. I've made it through a week. My fiance left for 2.5 weeks to go down to North Carolina, and tonight I'm feeling it though, because the easy food to make in the house is all run out, So now it's what, 10:30 at night. I got to try. I'll probably end up eating a sandwich or something.
Mm-hmm.
Not fun. I got to fend for myself.
Exactly.
Foxy Lady, what's up? I haven't been live in so long. I'm gonna just chat with your chat here.
There you go.
Oh, Feather Snuffles. Okay, I'll get down too, I guess. Take your shirt off, Larry. Oh God.
Holy crap.
2 more zeros behind that, and maybe I'll take it off. Well, wait, this is going to Mark anyway, so.
Yeah, pay me hundreds of dollars for Larry to take his shirt off.
Megan, I saw your thing. Honestly, well, I agree with a lot of your information. I guess the ultimate conclusion, and I hope I'm not wrong, because I'll admit it's a lot of people that just tell me the stuff all the time about what people think. So I'm gonna preface it with that. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. But just the overall end conclusion that that case that I won't name was ultimately just a bunch of actors, I guess, or something, is what I've been told is the ultimate conclusion, and that they're all still alive and it just didn't happen. And if that's wrong, then I apologize for listening to what others say, but I do love your, like you did that on Dave's marathon, that breakdown of the the actual evidence, like the phone and all that stuff. I mean, brilliant. Like, you do your work. Like, I was like, wow, I was blown away by it. But I do think that 4 people are dead, and it's a major tragedy.
Oh yeah, there's no getting around that.
I don't see the end game. I do believe there are false flags and things like that. I mean, it's pretty much admitted. I mean, the United States has declassified, for example, Operation Northwoods. That's been declassified for years now. Which, if you read through those, that they proposed, the Joint Chief of Staffs and everything proposed to President Kennedy back during the Cuban Missile Crisis. They wanted to do false flags and actually hijack planes, fly them into massive sites and stuff around the country, and use that and blame it on Castro in order to justify going into Cuba and taking them out. And Kennedy said no and shot it down. But if you read that document today, post 9/11, they basically already proposed a 9/11, but back in the 60s. And Kennedy said no to it. So it makes you think, is that what they did on 9/11? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying. So, I mean, those things do happen. But then again, there was a massive reward for them, or if you call it reward, which was a regime takeover, trillions of dollars, the longest war in the history of America. And obviously you got the military industrial complex and these companies and all these people that made millions and billions of dollars. So trillions of dollars. In the case that shall not be named, I don't see what their end game would be. What did it do? A Netflix documentary 2 years later? I mean, I don't know that they'd go through all that for that. But again, I could be wrong.
Well, who knows? Anything is
possible.
Get so deep. Nowadays.
Sorry to get so deep, Prairie.
No, it's all good, man. You never know. Like, you just never know with all this stuff.
No, I agree, Megan. They could orchestrate. I'm not saying they couldn't orchestrate it. I think they could easily have orchestrated it. My question would be why. I'm open to maybe there's some other agenda that I don't know. But my question would be why? Why them? Why just a simple family in the middle of America for no good reason that I see, at least? And I just don't see. I don't see what the end game. What would they? You'd have to show me what they got out of it, because they don't do it for nothing. What did they get out of it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not some weird sadistic thing where they just want to watch the public get all twisted up. There has to be a reason.
Right. There was no war started by it, or, any kind of taking out a political rival. I mean, you had a middle class, normal family, otherwise unspectacular. if not for, you know, this event.
Yep. Now it's all screwed up.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go try to find some food somewhere in my
There you
house
go.
that doesn't cause me to cook. But take
All right,
away
man.
Social experiments possible, Meg. I see you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who knows? Again, there's so much we don't know that goes on. That, I mean, again, that's why I said I would never discount your work and your theories. I just happen to not think this is it or haven't been convinced of it. But
Yeah.
that's why I do give you credit for the work that you do because I understand there's a lot we don't know.
Yep, that's the way it goes. Like with every single case, even all the information we have, it's probably only half.
Yeah, exactly. Like that case. I mean, a lot of people are, you know, I've kind of had a kind of come to Jesus moment, I guess, with that case that, you know, there's only so much that we can go over this tiny bit of evidence or whatever and the discovery that we have, which is all messed up. And, you know, we don't have enough stuff. You got all the games being played with everything going on in it. And it's like, what are we going to accomplish now? I don't know. And if the families themselves don't want anything, I've kind of come to the point of, what do you do? Where do you go from there? I mean, do you keep on making videos just to, and I'm only speaking for me, but do I just keep on making videos rehashing the same things everyone's talked about for 2.5 years? I can't do it. It's not me.
That's why I stopped.
Yeah. If it means I lose subscribers or I lose supporters or people don't want to give super chats or whatever the heck they're called, then that's fine. I got to look, more important to me is looking at myself in the mirror every morning.
Yeah. Father Snuffles, I am a little bit. There's something else going on, but
oh man, I'm sorry. Let's I'm ready to roll anyways whenever you are. I got
yeah, we might as well call it. It was a good one.
It was really, I had a good discussion. We started off a little slow, but it got going pretty good. I wish Mark was here, but that's all right.
Yeah, it would have been nice. Holy crap, Soul Sister. You gotta
Soul
stop,
Sister's
girl.
the best.
That's yeesh. You've done that a few times tonight.
Hey, she's buying you dinner tonight. At least your dinner's taken care of now, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. I'm having steak tonight.
Soul Sister's the best. She is amazing. I don't know if you know her, but she is.
Yeah, she's been around yet. I think I've actually had her on my panel a few times.
Really? Probably.
I think
yeah,
so.
She's been around a lot longer than me. She's guided me through a lot of landmines, but she is a very passionate, awesome, and intelligent person.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we got a lot of great people in here. Always get a couple little off the wall ones, but all in all, mostly great people.
It's all good. I mean, hey, It's the internet. What are you going to do? You're going to get, I've learned you just got to kind of, you know, the passionate cases sometimes, and look, we're human too. It does get to me at times.
Oh,
and that's why I took a little break for, you know, about a week or so here. It started off with this case, actually, believe it or not the case of, you know, that I'm not naming, which I thought that would be the crazy one. It was this case that started all the crap. And it slowly kept trickling in, and then everybody else. And I said, you know what? I don't do it for that. I do it because I enjoy it. So I'm going to take a little break, get into like pre-recorded videos and, you know, get back to having fun.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, there's no point.
And then we got Cher coming in with the truth bombs. I love it. We both, me and you we're probably the most boring guests for two people because we both try to be like the voice of reason. And so we beat around, and then you bring Cher in to just say, no, guys, shut up. You're a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got no problem telling it like it is.
Oh, I saw that. No, so not you. Gotcha. All right, man. I'm going to go get something to eat. I'll let you close it down, say goodbye to people. Thanks for having me on, man. It was a good time.
Thanks for coming, dude. It was great. So, yeah, hopefully we can do this, make it a monthly thing with all the guys getting together.
Yeah, absolutely. I would be down for it for sure. This was fun. And get some other cases too. I'd like to talk about a few that I'm trying to work on with these videos if I could ever learn how to edit. But
Well, if you got
yeah,
any editing problems, just hit me up.
I will. Do you use Final Cut or Adobe?
No, neither. I use Sony Vegas.
Oh, really? Okay. Actually, that was the first program I ever back in like 2008. That was the first program I used was Sony Vegas. Then I got into Max and that, and I went straight to Mac um to Final Cut. But
Yeah.
yeah, Sony Vegas is great though. I actually missed that. I like that better than everything.
It is good. It does pretty much everything Final Cut does, just not quite as good.
Really?
You got to do some more work around. Yeah, Final Cut's definitely for Mac is the top.
Yeah, I love Final Cut. It's just I only reason I even tried Premiere is because I already pay for the whole Adobe Cloud, whatever it is, for my business.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I have access to it. And a couple of my friends that work in media, they kept telling me because when I said, I was like, oh my God, I don't recognize these new versions of Final Cut Pro, so I'm still gonna have to learn. They go, if you're gonna learn new anyways, they told me to go with Premiere. So I was like, all right, so that's what I'm trying now.
Yeah. Yeah, Adobe is the industry standard because you got Premiere, After Effects,
Exactly.
Lightroom,
I opened
Photoshop.
After
You have it
Effects
all
and
in
I
there.
closed it. I closed it within a minute. I was like, I'm going to stick to Premiere because this After Effects, I had no idea what was going on.
You can do crazy, crazy stuff with that.
Really?
You can basically like make anything.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at some. I follow a lot of like Peter McKinnon on YouTube, who does he's a big YouTuber on filmmaking and stuff. And
Yeah, I follow him too.
oh, do you? All right, yeah, he's a Canadian too.
Yes, he is.
Big Canon guy. He's really good, and he uses Adobe Premiere too. So that's another reason why I was like, all these people are using Adobe Premiere now, even if they are Mac people. But yeah, there's so much you can do with that stuff. Like I've seen some of his videos where he shows how he does things in Adobe After Effects. I'm like, wow, that's a little too much for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could spend 2 weeks editing one video.
Oh yeah,
if you wanted to, but I mean, for the stuff we do, it's not really worth it.
No.
Oh well. Well, anyways,
Good night, soul sister. Good seeing you in here, and hope we all had a good chat. I'll talk to you later. And Mark, thank you so much for having me again. I'll drop off and let you say goodbye to everybody. But awesome panel.
Groovy, man. Thanks for coming by.
No problem. Have a good one. And share. Good night to you too.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for sticking around for that. That was discussing the Christian Andreacchio case. Of course, seems majority people do lean towards the murder angle. Me, I'm not so sure. But I hope you guys got some good info out of that. And we will be talking about this case on another stream. We're definitely not through it yet. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming out, and to everyone who joined the team and gave super chats and stuff. Thank you all so much. That was so generous and so nice of you. I mean, you guys are just awesome people. Especially in the wake of how much drama's been going around. I needed to see something positive. So thank you guys so much. And we shall catch you on the next one. And until then, this is Prairie Boy 77 saying good day, good night, and God